What is up, guys? Today I'm going to review Days Gone. Now, Days Gone is an open world survival game. You play as Deacon St. John, and you basically just go around and survive. I'm not really going to say a lot because I don't want to spoil the story, but the story is just really, really good. At first, it has you doing random tasks, mostly to introduce you to the characters and the world itself, which I think is actually a really good way to start the game. During the middle is where you get the point A to point B type of story, has more of an objective, but that's really about it. The characters are really interesting, characters such as Iron Mike, Tucker, Copeland. However, their backstories aren't really explained too well, which kind of sucks. Your psychic Boozer is very interesting, their backstories, but again, their backstory isn't explained a whole lot, but the characters themselves are just interesting, if that sort of makes sense. Deacon St. John, or Deke, is a very different character too. At first he's very, shy, quiet, but it's very interesting to see him progress through the story, kind of opening up to people and whatnot. However, in the story, it seems like Deacon has, I would say, beef with other camp leaders and stuff, and doesn't really go into depth on why. I mean, they sort of explain it, but not really, and I would like to know more, maybe in Days Gone 2, if that ever comes out. But yeah, I think Deacon is just a really, really interesting character to play, and is voiced very well by Sam Witter, who plays many other characters as well. But also how him and Boozer kind of communicate with each other, it's very interesting to see. It seems more alive. Some games kind of seem very staticky in a way, not really interesting, very stale. But him and Boozer, or just any characters in the world, just seem to have a lot of personality in their conversations. I think also Iron Mike too, he just seems to have a lot of personality as well, and I think they did a really good job with that. Now for the open world. The open world isn't really anything special. You're not really going to get a Skyrim, Witcher, or Fallout type of open world. It's just very basic. There's not really a whole lot. You'll run into a marauder camp or a person in distress, but that's really about it. It's really meant to go on supply runs and stuff, which is pretty cool. You have to go into cities that are full of zombies or freakers, and you kind of have to maneuver your way around them to get the parts and crafting components and whatnot, which is pretty cool, and it adds to the game, I think. But as far as that, there's not a whole lot in the open world, and it gets kind of stale pretty quick. Now, I think the biggest part of the open world, though, is the horde system, fighting hordes. Hordes are basically just a bunch of freakers or zombies that will just chase you, and you can either, kill them and take on the challenge, or try to run, or even you have to sometimes sneak past them, as I said before, getting, your crafting parts or whatnot. But I think that's a really cool addition to the open world as well. Now, for the freakers themselves, they don't really explain a whole lot on why they're zombies. I mean, it is explained, but barely. I mean, I had to look up a video almost to really understand why there's zombies in the game to begin with. It doesn't go that into depth. Hopefully, as I said in Days Gone 2, maybe it gets explained. But yeah, and it's just kind of weird because it seems like the main purpose of the game, and it's not really that introduced too well, and it's kind of just like, oh, by the way, there's zombies here, and that's really about it. Now the mechanics are pretty good, I would say, especially the whole bike mechanic too. The way you get to customize your bike, and it's kind of like evolves around the whole part of the game. I think that's really cool. However, the bike feels very stiff at times, and it's a pain in the ass to control. The turning and stuff, it takes too long to turn. You'll be hitting the trees, and it's a huge pain in the ass. Another mechanic that I kind of find a little bit quirky is the stealth mechanic. The stealth mechanic is, I don't know, it seems buggy at times. You'll be behind cover, behind rocks and stuff, and characters or enemies will just find you for whatever reason, or they'll just like run behind cover and start shooting, and you don't know what they're shooting at. I don't know if that has to do with the bugs or whatnot, but it does. The stealth mechanic is very, very quirky. It's not really that well thought out. It's okay at times, but not a lot of times, but sometimes it can be a pain in the ass. Now, the bugs in this game, there are quite a few bugs. Worlds won't render, characters won't, work properly, and just a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, but this game is pretty buggy, which is kind of surprising considering it's funded by Sony. But yeah, this game is fairly buggy, so just expect that. It's not bad like Cyberpunk, but there are some bugs in it. So overall, I'll rate this game a 9 out of 10. I think the story is just really, really good, and also the survival mechanics and stuff. As I said, there's some bugs and whatnot, but overall, I think this game is just an amazing game.